Good morning, Beaks. We're off to STRATHALBYN today for a bit of shearing. Given as we're in Australia, everybody needs a good shear every now and again, and Farmer Chris looks like the proverbial shaggy sheep. And while we're there, of course, it's an excuse for a coffee, but as you know, any excuse for a ride. And this is one of the first days. Yesterday it was raining. This is one of the first days where the temperature is not in the 30s or high 30s. The expected temperature today is to get up to 24 maybe max. So it's very windy, of course, because this is South Australia where it seems wind is the go. But hopefully it won't do too much for our ride. And here's some music. As you can see, the GoPro is cactus again. It's stuck on 3 minutes and 7. I'm just wondering how do people get sponsorship on motovlogging channels? We've looked at the DJI, the latest DJI Osmo, and the 5 is something that we really want. It's just at the moment we're trying to recover from sort of a year of extraordinary spending with the travel that we did, and when you're self-funding all of these things, you know, it really racks up to quite a lot of money. And this GoPro's been on its last legs for too long, really, but they're so unreliable now. So if anybody's got any ideas on how to get sponsorship for new equipment, give me some comments, please. Oh, here we are in not so sunny STRATHALBYN. The helmet camera wouldn't work, the helmet wouldn't switch on. There's a software update it wants me to do, but I'm really reluctant to install the update because the last update I did resulted in me spending practically a whole day trying to get the thing to reboot up. So I'm not quite sure, but that was an automatic update, so I'm not quite sure about this update. There's next to no support coming out of Foresight now. It's all gone quiet since the acquisition by GoPro. I think they have fully acquired it now. There's no news on what they intend to do. It would be a dream if they could build some stabilization of some sort into their footage, but as you don't know what the update is about, you've got no sort of information to go off as to whether it would be a good idea or a bad idea. So the GoPro, as you can see, is still cactus. And this is the high street, and it's got a couple of cafes, but I thought for shearing today there's also a barbershop. Thought we'd give that a go. Well, I'm not giving it a go. I had a shearing yesterday. Farmer Chris can give it a go. So I thought, since I look like showing the shape, you might like to give it a go in the old barbershop over there.
It cost a fortune, no.
I don't think so. For a men's haircut. No, I think you should go.
Yeah, so the barber shop in STRATHALBYN, opposite the Appleseed Cafe, is really nice guy. Eddie's got a motorbike. He's got a Honda 360, actually in the barber shop, and he's very pro biking. And I sat there at the haircut, and all he did was talk about bikes and where you've been, where you're going. and we talked about nothing but bikes.
Excellent.
I was frightened he was going to shave my head off talking too much.
That was the Appleseed Cafe. So that was a very tasty lunch, and a nice coffee for Farmer Chris, and a dirty chai for me, which was pretty strong. These days I've been on to decaffeinated coffee. It's 1 o'clock, so I'm not quite sure why it's so busy, but it's busy. But then it's a very busy town. It's a growing town, so couldn't quite see the flashing indicator there. So yeah, it's very busy, but always consistently good food. Although Farmer Chris had something unusual. I think it was a Korean fried chicken burger, and he wasn't too impressed, but there we go. You can't always get it right, and no doubt he'll have something different next time we go in. And we're off to Murray Bridge now to call into a super cheap auto which supplies, it's a bit like Halfords in the UK. I'm not quite sure what the equivalent would be in the United States or anywhere else, but we want to look at a battery charger which is suitable for both car and motorcycle, and the brand that has been recommended to us is Noco. We've got a very old battery charger at the moment, which is, it's not really, well, it's a car battery charger for a start, so it's no good for a motorcycle. And true to form, there goes the GoPro. There it is. We've got a purple screen this time, just to mix things up a bit. Anyway, here's some music. just wondered if yours had sustained any damage as well, but nowhere near as much as me. Best laid plans, as they say. So I've gone in there and I've got a Noco 10 battery charger, and as you do, because you've only got half a brain, you forget that you've only got a small tank bag, and that the charger is larger than the tank bag. So we'll see how we go with this. Tank bag is open, the cover is on, but I expect we're going to have problems in the high wind. But anyway, it's what happens when you don't think things through, or forget that you're actually on a motorbike and you're not getting back in the car. It's funny because I was just looking at a foldable rucksack this morning. I don't know what size it is, or whether it would kind of sit inside the tank bag. It's just one of those things that you just forget. Oh, hello, you're not carrying a rucksack with you. Why don't you just go and do a week's shopping? You'll fit it in somewhere. I remember when I had my first bike, the SV650. I had that's all I had. So I started working at a university in Sheffield, in the UK, and I used to do everything on this motorcycle, including commuting, shopping, you name it. So there's been more than once I've had 2 Tesco's carrier bags hanging off the handlebars. And that's where cargo nets came in incredibly handy. And there are cargo nets in Australia, just not the small ones. You know what? Ones which are small enough to sit over the back seat. And I think the one I did have for my motorcycle's long since perished and gone in the way of all things old. Gone in the bin, I think. And there's not much room underneath the seats. I remember I used to stuff it underneath the seats on the SV650, and it always came in handy if I'd stopped off to buy something, shove it in a carrier bag and manage to get the cargo net over the top of it to hold it in place. But as I say, these things are sent to try us. Oh God. I just don't want it flying off and losing it, that's the thing. It's just as well I don't have the drone in there. Although I could have gone into boating, camping and fishing next door. I'm sure they would have had something resembling a small backpack. Even one of those kids' sports backpacks would do. But it's only 30 kilometers. What am I whinging about? Well, there we go. The tank bag and everything in it made it in an unconventional way. However, I'm sure most bike riders have done something equally stupid in their time. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a big thumbs up. There is a huge number of people who are watching the channel but not subscribing. So I have to ask myself why people are not subscribing. Please, 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 please hit that subscribe button. Share the channel amongst your friends and family. And we'll see you in the next one. Love you long time.